And who am I in my darkest moment? Who are we in our darkest moments? How do we overcome the fear of rejection? How do we overcome the fear of failure? How do we step outside of the outcome and step into ourselves? The art of overcoming setbacks isn't about this woo-woo, cliche, I'm going to tell you to do yoga, go for a run. It doesn't work like that. It's about understanding the process. It's about learning how to love yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and redefining what tough needs. Because the definition that I grew up understanding of what toughness is, this grit, this grind, is shoving people into a wall like we're playing ice hockey in New Rochelle or something, is not the definition of toughness that I've come to find. And so over the last 7 years, I've been investigating these questions of what does it take to be the best version of yourself? How do you rise to the occasion? How do you step into the vision you have for yourself? I've come to learn that the art of overcoming setbacks is a journey that you start and never finish. And that resilience is something that you build into your life. It's something that you practice on a daily basis. And today I'm going to share with you some tips, tools, tactics, strategies, frameworks to help process, reframe failure, and start to see that the best sides of who you are exist on the other side of the hardest things that you have ever done. I built a podcast over the last 5 years that started out as an Instagram live show where 17 people were tuning in to watch me talk to different people about overcoming different hardships that they dealt with in their life. True line up. How do you overcome the hardest thing you've ever been through? How do you manage your emotions and show up and deal with the things that you don't want to deal with when your emotions are telling you that they're not in a space to handle the thing that's in front of you? How do you operate regardless of how you feel? Neurologically, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? I don't just talk about these things. Not from the hundreds of books or the 100+ experts or the hundreds of articles that I've read on these topics or the experience in the military. I practice these things. I live these things. I geek out on these things. I could talk for 5 hours on these things. But the reason that I'm here is to share how you can learn how to navigate your darkest moments. It's a choice, and choices are within our control. And we don't always like to make the hard choice, do we? We like to run away. I did. I used to run from every hard decision, from every hard conversation. And learning how to redefine resilience, learning how to manage my emotions, learning how to manage my thoughts and feelings and everything that I didn't want to do, I cultivated a new definition of resilience. And so we get stressed out because we don't know how to balance when in reality, balance isn't a thing. And confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. But if I break the promise, my confidence goes down. And as a result, I'm not being the person that I said I was. And then I can't show up effectively in my relationships, and in my personal life, and in my professional life. I'm not competent. Even though I've done something great, I didn't finish where I started. As part of the strategies around how to cultivate resilience, how you can cultivate a growth mindset, how you can identify and challenge limiting beliefs, we're going to reframe stress management because I don't know about you, but at least in law school, there were certain terms that used to bother me, like the best evidence rule. For whatever reason, it was very hard for me to wrap my head around. I couldn't understand that the definition of the best evidence rule was staring at me in the face the entire time. I always tried to make it more than it was, but really it's just the best evidence that's available. And so stress management is very much the same. It's not stress elimination, right? It's stress management. So how we manage our stress, how we manage ourselves in our darkest moments. The way you cultivate resilience is by managing your suffering. You learn that it's not about the outcome. You learn that things come with time, pace, and patience. You don't have to go around dealing with everything all at once. You go piece by piece by piece. Strategically manage your suffering. That is what resilience is. So why do lawyers need resilience? Well, we deal with some pretty intense stuff, right? from matrimonial, familial. It gets very intense, irrespective of what the particular industry that you're in is, or the field of interest that you're in is. It can be very difficult and taxing, from the pages you have to write, the pages you have to read, the people you have to deal with, the hours you have to work. And it's easy to burn out. But now we're going to talk about the application of it. These frameworks I have put through the ringer, tried and tested one way or another. And so now I'm going to share them with you in hopes that you can put them into practice and leverage these frameworks as a medium to achieve the outcomes that you're after. The first one is the straight line method. I used to wonder why I wasn't getting the things that I wanted in my life. I used to blame other people because of things that were outside of my control, when really all those things were inside my control. And at the foundation, I remember sitting with a piece of paper and a pen, and I simply wrote the words want, say, do. And I drew a line under it. And I realized anytime I've ever tried to achieve anything in my life, it came down to what I wanted. I followed through on what I said I wanted. Follow through on what you say with what you do. Then you'll have a straight line towards your goals. That is the straight line method. And the framework that I love to use for overcoming and combating imposter syndrome to cultivate resilience is by listing out all of the credible evidence that establishes beyond a reasonable doubt, where the burden of proof is on me, that I am exactly who I say I am, such that it would be unreasonable for me to believe otherwise. To the point that not even I can question it. To the point that it's unreasonable for me to question, dude, why do you not feel like an athlete? Because you didn't run a marathon? Who cares? Why do you not feel like an athlete? Because you didn't do 1,000 pull-ups? Who cares? But then I started to do these things, and that conversation slowly went away. Now it became unreasonable for me to believe these things about me. And I couldn't waste my bandwidth anymore saying, you're not an athlete, man. For whatever reason, I wasn't getting the thing that I wanted because I spent so long trying to please other people. But the reality is, I just needed to be operating from a different place. I needed to be operating from a place of intrinsic motivation. The thing about all these challenges that I told you about, there was no medal at the end of these things. None. I didn't get any awards. I got a t-shirt that my wife and I designed for the 58-mile ultramarathon. That's intrinsic motivation. When you do things for the sake of doing things, when you do things for the sake of the process, when you're not chasing the awards. Because resilience in the legal profession comes down to how you embrace yourself. It comes down to how you learn how to navigate struggle. It comes down to learn how to love yourself in the moments that you don't want to love yourself the most. Battle scars are attractive. Our failures, our rejection, our process, all of that is part of who we are. And so when we learn that the best sides of who we are exist on the other side of the hardest things that you've ever done, when we learn how to become process-driven, our life changes. We become more resilient. We become more adaptable. And we realize that everything that we were ever afraid of was on the other side of making a tough decision. But resilience is about how you respond. It's about who you are in those darkest moments is going to be up to you.
What is one of the more interesting responses that you've gotten from some of the people that have been on your podcast?
That's actually a very easy answer. And it was in the episode that I released today, ironically. Dr. Michael Gervais actually said that he would ask himself a question. And the question was, are you making a difference? And that was probably the most interesting response that I've ever received, because I realized that maybe the future version of myself 10 years from now, or any of us, won't necessarily give advice in the form of words, but asking better questions. And that was a very enlightening response from me. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you listening, learning. I hope you got some value out of today. I really do appreciate it. Very grateful. Once again, my name is Jonathan Cohen, and this was The Art of Overcoming Setbacks.
Hi everyone, welcome to Inside the Inspired. My name is Jonathan Cohen and I have a quick favor to ask you. If you're getting any value out of this content, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. You help us reach more people and you can also stay up to date with all the latest content coming your way. Thank you so much for tuning in.